everyone, and welcome back to the Cycle Podcast. Thank you for tuning in for episode 6. Remember to head on over to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast and hit that subscribe button, and follow us on Twitter at @thecyclepod_. Today's crew, we have myself, Cam May, Kenny Briggs,
Hey, what's up?
David Cook,
What's up?
and making his debut, Zach Dinch, El
What's up,
Dincho.
everybody?
Today we are going to be starting a monthly segment that we want to start at the beginning of every month, even though we're about 7 days in now to May. But it'll be top 10s about whatever we choose, whatever we're feeling, whatever may be going on. Today we're going to be discussing movies and TV shows. But first, we want to talk about some other stuff happening in the world of movies and TV. First, being the recent news coming out that Taika Watiti is going to be directing a new Star Wars movie, which I'm very excited about. I know some of you guys are too, and you have thoughts about it.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, and I also really enjoyed Jojo Rabbit, both movies that he directed, and so I'm pretty excited into what direction he's going to take the Star Wars franchise. I think that his vision is going to be, pretty welcome after this recent trilogy wasn't the best.
Yeah, that's what I'm conflicted on. Is I like Taika Watiti, I like Jojo Rabbit, I like Thor Ragnarok a lot. Those are fantastic movies, but I really think they botched the sequel trilogy. I don't know that Kathleen Kennedy is the person to be leading that ship. Star Wars has felt directionless. Some things have been really good, like The Mandalorian. It's pretty enjoyable, but
Taika
I'm
was
not
in that
crazy
too.
about The Last Jedi, and I'm even less crazy about The Rise of Skywalker. So I don't know whether to be excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, the only two positive things that I've seen from Disney in the past couple of years from Star Wars is one, the Clone Wars, especially this past season 7. I thought that was really good. That just finished up here on Monday, and then the Mandalorian. And besides that, I don't know if you could say that the Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker and the Force Awakens were home runs.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main problem with the trilogy, this most recent trilogy, was the fact that I don't think they really had a story with it.
Mhm.
It just felt like there wasn't a story. There wasn't like a cohesive plot. I mean, like, what was the point of Finn's entire role in episode 9? Like, he always just asked, "Where's Rey?" Like, he had like no point. Like, I feel like he would have been a really interesting character to dive more into, but I feel like they had just in general no story with this new trilogy and stuff like that. And I hope that Taika can bring his bring some more creativity and bring his touch to the Star Wars movies.
And I
I
think
think
part of the problem was, sorry, Dave.
no, go ahead, Cameron.
But I think part of the problem was the switch of directors from Abrams to Johnson back to JJ, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. And obviously, I didn't read too much into Taika's movie, what he's going to be directing. I don't know if they even released it.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Okay, so we don't really know what he's going to be doing, but it's still, like you said, Kathleen Kennedy is an idiot, quite frankly, and
Agreed.
so we don't know what can happen. But Taika is an extremely creative guy and has directed a lot of great movies. So I'm optimistic. Yeah, they've had some lackluster movies. I love The Rise of Skywalker personally. I know I'm kind of alone in that boat. We can get into that another time. But
Hmm.
I still think that there's reason for hope and reason for optimism.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I just don't know. It's such a stark contrast when you compare what they're doing with Star Wars to what Disney's doing with Marvel. And I
Yeah.
think that really does come down to the leadership. Kevin Feige, what he's doing. He's known what he's doing for a long time.
He's in
Yeah, you
charge of
have to make
both now.
adjustments. Yeah, and that's good
Hmm.
too. But I think without that strong leadership, you get what Briggs is talking about with the lack of a through line. It doesn't feel like a trilogy. It feels like 3 separate movies with directors who don't seem to collaborate at all. Yes, the original trilogy had 3 different directors, but they were different directors who worked together, and there was a plan from the beginning with those movies to an extent. Here, it
George.
feels like they really were just making it up as they went along and reacting to backlash.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And like you mentioned Feige, and I believe he is coming into Star Wars now, right? So
Yeah.
that is another reason for optimism. Him and help me out.
John
Who's the other?
Favreau.
Yeah, Jon Favreau. Thank you. I think those two will be very big, especially for what Favreau did with the Mandalorian was awesome.
And then
Yeah.
Dave Filoni as well
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
Dave
Clone
Filoni.
Wars and Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was the Clone Wars. He absolutely knocked it out of the park with this past season 7. Definitely want to check that out.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into Clone Wars, but I've heard it's very good from David mainly. But
I'm a good source.
I lost my train of thought now. No, but I remember now. The Star Wars fan base is so passionate. You have had so many people just shit on everything they've done the past few years that at some point they have to listen, and Kathleen Kennedy has to listen. And maybe her bringing in these new guys and Favreau and Filoni and Feige, maybe she's going to give them more control, and they're going to be able to put it back on the right track. At least I hope so.
I don't know if I agree with that or not, because I think The Rise of Skywalker was them listening, but it was kind of them listening to the wrong things. And I think that's kind of why
Yeah,
the
I
trilogy
agree.
feels so directionless. I think if they maybe would have stuck with the vision that Ryan Johnson started with The Last Jedi, I know some people didn't like it, but it at least was different and it at least had a point to it. I think the way the trilogy finished, it ultimately just feels messy, and that's because potentially they listen to the fans too much in some areas.
Yeah, but at the same time, JJ didn't have a whole lot to work with Episode 8.
I think the problem was they went back to JJ. I think that's a
I don't think
huge
they should have
problem.
switched up at all. I think JJ should have done all 3.
Yeah, either
Yeah.
you let him do it all, or you don't go back to him. You don't,
Just
Yeah, I
messy.
think going back was a mistake, and especially if I'm not mistaken, didn't they have an idea for episode 9 and then completely tossed it with like little time to spare, and then hurried up and wrote something, and that's what we got?
Yeah, they had the guy who did Jurassic World in to direct, Colin Trevorrow, I believe his name
Yeah.
is. And I was excited to see that movie. And they tossed him after Backlash to The Last Jedi. And I think probably some scheduling conflicts, maybe with Jurassic World and stuff too. But it's just a shame because that trilogy I think started so strong, and then I think Rogue One also brought a lot of momentum to Star Wars, and I think all of that goodwill is gone now.
I think Rogue One is the best movie that Disney has released so far.
I agree.
Sorry,
I
Kenny.
really liked Rogue One. But I think honestly, I think the future of Star Wars, and I think what Disney needs to do is, I think, go to more to TV streaming and stuff like that. They found success with The Mandalorian, and not rely on the whole the Skywalker family, the Skywalker saga, or whatever. Do other things, go to different planets, look at different alien species and stuff like that. Just make interesting plot lines and stuff like that, not just going back to that same family or whatever, because it just makes some things like not so special, I guess. But that could be also contradicting George's whole point of Star Wars, making it focusing on the Skywalker family and stuff like that.
Yeah, Star Wars had the like Legends lore that Kathleen Kennedy made Legends and threw everything out instead of that's not canon, and they could build off of so much of that Legends that's already made. And like the Old Republic video games that came out in the early 2000s, and then they were remade. Those are really good stories that I think people would like and would like to see that on screen. And they just have so much to work with, but they got rid of all of it so they could write their own stuff, make it a bunch of kiddie shows, because that's what Disney is. But
like I'd be so down just to like have like a Star, like you don't have to have like a lightsaber in a Star Wars like thing to make it good. Like look at Mandalorian, they didn't.
Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One.
Well,
Vader,
Well,
but
except for the
Vader
last scene,
and
which was badass.
and Mandalorian, they're gonna have
Oh yeah, the dark scene.
spoiler, but
Darksaber, yeah.
It's been out.
Darksaber, and also rumored Ahsoka Tano season 2.
I gotta watch that that roundtable discussion that they had with a bunch of the directors in season
Me
1
too.
for that. I gotta watch that. I saw that on Disney Plus today. I thought that was interesting. Looks
I
cool.
haven't actually finished it yet.
Oh, you started it?
I'm got like halfway through The Mandalorian. I'm like, this is solid, but then
The show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
but
shit.
then everything
Well,
happened.
Dench.
And no, I don't care. It's fine. Everything happened. I fell off. I need
Whoops.
to get back to it.
You're a slacker, bro. That's your own fault.
Happens.
Like Matt.
All right, we ready to move on?
Yes, let's not talk about Star Wars because we can talk about this for
Yeah, it depresses
on
me,
end.
honestly. So
Let's talk about Tiger King.
yes,
Nick Cage has been. Is this confirmed that he was casted to play Joe
yeah,
Exotic
this is
in the
Let me
new
confirmed,
double
series?
I think.
check. Let me
Okay.
double check.
Yeah, let's
All right,
verify
Dave's
it.
gonna
But
double check, but if it is true, I'm sorry. I love Tiger King. It was the most bizarre shit I've ever seen in my life, and I loved every second of it. But it is so unnecessary to do this. I don't see the point. They told the story. They told us everything that happened. What is the point to tell us again?
I just hope I hope it's not like just the documentary just like played out in movie form.
I don't know what
hope,
else they could do.
I mean, I know they're basing the source material for the movie off of something else than what the documentary was around.
I mean, I don't know.
So like
Maybe
I don't know,
it's...
but like I wonder how Nick Cage is gonna like
Personally, I feel like he is the perfect person to play
I
Joe
like Nick
Exotic.
Cage in
Like-
this role.
I think he's gonna take it super like he's gonna do 100% method acting and take it super seriously because that's just who he is. You know, he's just gonna push the buttons and stuff like that and go absolutely off the walls.
Who
which is
else
gonna
could
be
you see in this
amazing.
cast?
All right, so this is what I wanted to bring up. I don't know where he fits in. I want Matthew McConaughey involved in this somewhere. I think he's perfect.
Have him play Jeff Lowe.
No, I would say have Matthew McConaughey. Do you guys know the guy that was like filming the guy that was filming with the documentary? He was like in
Mhm.
charge of like Joe's reality show. I know that guy said that if they made a movie, he wants Matthew McConaughey to play him. And I think that like that could kind of work because like
Is
they
he
kind of
too
have
old?
he might be too old, but like
I don't-
I could their voices are I feel like Matthew McConaughey could do his voice pretty well.
I don't
But
remember which guy you're talking about.
he's the guy that he smoked a bunch of cigarettes.
Oh, you know what? Did he have real long hair and always wear sunglasses?
No.
No.
What the
Uh,
hell am I
My Dreamcast has Keanu Reeves as that guy.
uh
thinking?
who plays Carol
Yeah,
Baskin?
who's playing Carol Baskin?
I saw rumors online that Kate McKinnon is in talks to
That's
play
a good
Carol
one. That's
Baskin.
good. Yeah.
I think that could work.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah,
This
that
is
could work.
confirmed.
This is confirmed.
Nicolas Cage will play Joe Exotic in a CBS docuseries.
Kate McKinnon as Carol Baskin would be good. Who was playing Carol Baskin's husband?
Oh,
Well, not the dead one.
Killed
Yeah.
her, husband, whacked him.
I need to pull up pictures of Howard Baskin. to see.
I think I hated him more than Carol.
Yeah, he
I
was
don't know
kind of a
what it was.
simp. He was a simp.
He was a simp.
Simp.
I've seen a dude that looks like this in movies, but I can't think of his name.
Kind of looks like my grandfather.
I feel like he kind of looks like Mitch McConnell a little bit. He's a little.
No, I could see that.
Senator
like Mitch McConnell's a little heavier than him,
They
but
kind of look like turtles. I could buy that. Actually, when you Google Howard Baskin, you don't
Yes,
have to
I
scroll
just
very
saw a
far to
picture
see
of Mitch McConnell.
yeah, I thought, yeah. Mitch McConnell once again.
Leader
acting.
Old Mitch.
But
Oh my
I mean,
God.
personally, I love the Tiger King documentary series. That's actually number one on my TV list. Spoilers. If you haven't seen
Ooh.
Tiger King, you need to watch Tiger King. And I'm down for more Tiger King. I trust that this can be good. And I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. Like I said, I don't think it's necessary if they're just going to be retelling the story.
Totally unnecessary.
I'm afraid that it's gonna be that it's just gonna be like because it's gonna come out like a year or like more than a year from now. So I'm just afraid people are gonna be like, "Oh God!" Like it's gonna look like gonna look like an old meme. It's gonna be like, "Ooh." I'm afraid about
Joe
that.
Exotic steals the Declaration of Independence.
I'd actually be down as hell for National Treasure 3 to just star Joe Exotic with no explanation.
We need Joe Exotic to go on tour because that music he pumped out, shit was
Must have been out of
slapping.
prison
No
first.
way,
That was
him.
slapping.
That wasn't him. That was some dude from Washington State.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's not Joe Exotic.
It's
singing.
not Joe Exotic's voice.
Oh,
That's
bro.
a dude that he got to sing for him.
Are you
I'm
serious?
watching. Yes,
Dude, I had no idea.
Are you
I saw
serious, Cam?
Spider
I had
Snap.
no idea. Is that said in the show?
No, they never say it in the show. I mean, dude, there's a scene of him singing in the car along to the radio, and they sound nothing alike.
Gotta notice that.
Let's give the guy some credit because that song is awesome.
Wait, Ditch, what was your
Danny
reaction?
Clinton and Vince Johnson are the guys who actually
Huh.
do Joe Exotic's music.
Forget the song, that music video he made when he was like
Oh, it's
feeding
so
Carol
good.
Baskin to the
Here,
tigers
kitty,
or whatever.
kitty.
Yes.
Dude, I would love it whenever like she would like try to claim like something as like collateral or whatever, and he would just go out and shoot it. Like that was the funniest thing. It's like, here, you want this mattress?
He's like, here, you want my
He
mattress?
just shoots his mattress. Like, it's incredible. Like honestly, like I started rooting for him during that in the documentary. Like I don't know why, I just started to like him.
I didn't.
I like
hated
him.
every character in that.
Yeah,
I like the
they're
political,
all bad people in that
the
show.
political campaign guy.
Yes,
I didn't mind.
I love that
Yeah,
guy.
that guy-
I
he
love
was
that
like,
guy.
because he was like the only like rational person. He was like
Jonah Hill needs to play him.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see Jonah Hill doing that.
David Coach sharing a screen. I'm kind
Now,
of scared.
correct me if this Tiger King thing is this a movie or a TV show? Because we're
8-episode
casting like
TV
it's a
show.
movie. Okay.
Okay.
See, we're casting movie stars.
Yeah.
Like, does Matthew McConaughey do TV?
I don't. Does he need to do a HB? No, it's
Did
someone
he
else.
I never saw True Detective. Was he on True Detective?
That's what I think he's on, is True Detective.
Yes.
Matthew.
Yeah, he did True Detective. So he has
Matthew
a history.
McConaughey, Joe Exotic is the #1 hit right now on Google. So
He has a
Let's
history of
take a
doing
look.
TV then. So we could get Matthew McConaughey involved in this.
Joe
We
Exotic
get
is the
involved
role
in this
Matthew
and just start
McConaughey
casting
won.
people.
I mean, that
And then we
sounds like
make
a
all the
future
money.
podcast episode, casting the Tiger King TV show.
Might as well just do it now.
I would participate in that.
Who directs it? Who's the director for this?
Christopher Nolan.
It's by
J.J.
CBS.
Abrams.
Then they got to deal with something with
Oh, it's by
time.
CBS? Oh, you
Yes.
lost my interest
Yeah,
with
it's
that.
CBS.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
they're
a
gonna get a
CBS
bunch-
8-episode TV series.
Oh, see, I want like AMC or HBO to do this.
No way.
Yes.
Ah,
Dude,
HBO?
imagine an HBO produced Tiger King show.
Yeah, McConaughey's on True Detective.
Yeah, no, they're not. Those actors we named, they're not gonna do a CBS show. Come on, now.
Yeah.
I guess Nicolas Cage is.
Yeah, what is Nicolas Cage really doing these days, though? Come on, Nicolas Cage. I enjoy some Nicolas Cage movies. Let's not pretend like the dude is some A-tier actor, though. Come on.
I'm going to
Terrible.
kidnap the president of the United States.
You know what I loved him in though? I don't even remember the name
Ghost
of it.
Rider, I'm leaving.
Yes, Ghost Rider.
Face-
You knew exactly
Oh
what I was
God!
gonna
All
say.
right, it's been fun, boys. I'll
Face
talk
off.
to you later. Thanks for having me
I'm
on.
just kidding. That movie was awful, but it's just so funny.
You guys ever seen Face
fast-forwarded
Off?
through the second one just to watch the transformations and him screaming and rolling around on the ground. His face like lights up in flames. Awful movie.
Uh,
No, I've never seen Face Off.
no, either.
He's in it with John Travolta. It's so stupid.
John Travolta. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Coming out of the closet.
What? What?
That was from an episode of South Park.
That's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but I think John Travolta was in there with him.
Oh, that's
John
right.
Travolta's
Yeah,
now in the
they-
closet.
Yeah. And R. Kelly.
And I pulled out my gun.
Ooh, we don't talk about R. Kelly anymore.
Yeah, we're not. We already talked about domestic abuse in like 2 episodes ago. We can't get into that shit
Earl.
again.
It's not okay.
No, it's not okay. We don't condone that.
Okay.
All right. Next topic.
Yeah, I forget what it was.
AMC.
Yeah, thank God you guys know better than I do. AMC versus Universal. This is a shit show, but I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
Who
here
would have
for it.
thought the new Trolls movie would have, caused so much.
Trolls World Tour is going to destroy the movie industry.
You know how many times
Really?
I've watched Trolls 1 in the past month?
I've never seen.
Wait, how many times have you watched it?
Like 3.
Why?
Because
Oh,
my cousin,
I'd
that's all
force
she
him
wants
to
to watch. She just put on Trolls, and I have to sit there and watch Trolls.
Is it
Uh,
slap?
Roger. Don't have kids.
Is it good?
That's a joke.
Fire.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't even pay attention. I
I've
sit on
heard
Twitter the whole
good
time.
things about the sequel, though. I'm not
They're
paying
dropping that
for it. I'm
soundtrack
not.
to it with like Justin Timberlake and SZA,
Is he in the
Anderson
sequel too?
.Paak. Yeah,
Wait,
it's like
Anderson
Okay.
Paak is
bad
a
actually.
song? Oh, I
Yeah,
think I
Now I'm
heard it.
interested. You've piqued my interest.
I mean that's all. Did you not hear the Justin Timberlake and SZA song?
No, I don't think so.
It's okay. I don't love it, but I mean, for it being Trolls World Tour,
That's how I felt about Justin Timberlake for the past 5 years. I know it's off topic, but
the Justin Timberlake halftime show was incredible.
Oh my god, what was
Dude,
the
You know
one
what
kid? There's the
halftime show
one
was
kid in
incredible?
it.
I love the 2020 Experience. Great album. Everything after that, eesh.
I don't even know what's after it.
It's that album with Filthy. The only song anyone knows is
I don't
Filthy.
even know that song.
Yes, you
Yeah!
do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I probably do, but I
Put
can't
your
think of it.
filthy hands
Oh, that's right.
all
Kenny
over
loves
me.
that song.
Good looking.
What?
I don't know.
Kenny loves that song.
But yeah, back to Trolls World Tour. But yeah, apparently Universal is considering to release some of their movies on paid video on demand and skipping the movie theater box office. So AMC responded and said, well, if you're going to do that, we're just, not going to show any of your movies. And if anybody else is going to do that, we're also not going to show any of the movies. So I think that it's honestly, I think that AMC needs Universal more than Universal needs AMC. So I think that, this isn't the smartest idea for AMC to do, but I understand that they do need to be strict. They do need to, have some backbone with this because, I mean, the movie theater business, this is a threat, and the movie theater business, this could, have severe implications for them coming into the future, especially, once COVID-19 ends and stuff like that. I think that this can have some serious impacts on them.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I respect what AMC is doing. I like what they're doing, but
Mhm.
it's gonna change. They can't do this forever. Universal's too huge and pumps too many movies through there for them to keep this going long term.
They make most of their money from the box office, though, right?
So the first week of a movie being in the movie theaters, most of the profits, most of the movie ticket sales go to the studio that produced said movie. And then
Right.
2 to 3 weeks afterward is when the movie theater starts to reap in more of the profits. So
Because,
yeah, that's the profit structure.
the Avengers movies, they made over $1 billion in box office.
Mhm.
Okay, if you cut out the box office, do they make $1 billion?
Yes.
Yeah,
If
I
you
I
have
think
a
think
they
so.
do.
huge
They do.
title like that, and
And
personally,
they
I'm
just
not even a
release it
huge
on
fan.
what do you release it on?
Streaming
See what's already
services,
happening. You put it out on
Yeah.
streaming services,
Xfinity on
Xfinity,
demand.
yeah,
and
on
that's
demand.
where I'm at with this whole
How
thing.
much? How much would they? I don't know.
I
Isn't
think
it
this whole
cheaper?
thing's
I
inevitable,
guess
and they're fighting a losing battle. I'd like to see them stick
I'm
to
with
this
Dinge.
when Disney decides they're going to do the same thing,
Yeah.
and the next Marvel movies on video on demand.
Yeah. I mean, for how expensive movie theaters are, and just just having the possibility of not even having a good experience when you're at the movie theater, somebody's using their phone or whatever. I think that it's definitely a losing battle for movie theaters going into the future. Me personally, I'm not going to a movie theater to see a low level movie that I can just wait 3 months for it just to be on a streaming service like Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever it may be. I'm only going to the movie theater to see big blockbuster movies like a Marvel movie or a Christopher Nolan movie, Star Wars, whatever, like Jurassic Park. I'm going out to the movie theaters to see those big blockbuster movies that are happen 4 times a year or whatever, and then that's perfectly fine with me. That's just
Yeah,
how I am.
I'm not a huge movie theater person at all. Like you
Yeah.
said, I'll go if there's some huge movie coming out that I want to see or something to do, when I'm bored. But I would much rather sit in the comfort of my home, in my bed, on my couch, and buy a movie on streaming service or on demand for the same price, if not even cheaper.
Yeah. But there is something about the movie going experience though. Like recently, I was just watching the Endgame reactions in
Mhm.
like the movie theater and stuff like that, and like that's just you're never gonna get that at your home. Like that was just awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do enjoy going to the movie theater sometime. If it's a nice one, like sit in a comfy chair, bowl of
Yeah.
popcorn,
Yeah,
snacks. It is enjoyable at times, but there are other times where it's like, I don't feel like going out, and especially if I can watch the movie right where I'm at and don't have to go out and spend more money, then I'm gonna do it.
I think
Cost an arm and a leg to get popcorn and a drink.
Yeah.
I think movie theaters are running on borrowed time the way they are now. I think you're going to see a lot of movie theaters shut down in the next couple of years. And I think if the industry wants to stay alive, it's got to go to a more premium business where, I mean, there are theaters out there where you can order dinner now.
Yeah.
We go to theaters with the recliner seats.
Yeah.
If that stuff isn't a mainstay at your theater, I don't really think you have a shot.
Yeah. Like I don't see like the Hollywood theaters that's near us. That's like the seats are really close to each other,
Yeah.
and like I don't see like that being a
No.
viable business for a couple of years or so. It's just like they have to go to more of like a luxury, like Dinch, like what you were saying. They have to go to more of like a luxury kind of business plan, I'd say. Focusing on the dinner, reclining seats, really
Right. It's got
really
to be an
nice stuff.
experience.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, the one right by 30 seconds from my house, I would drive to Robinson, 40 minutes away from me, any day instead of going to that theater because it's just not enjoyable.
I
Yeah,
mean, the sound sucks. The place feels dirty when you're in there. It's no
100%.
wonder that a place like that's going to be struggling when I can just sit in my basement and watch it on my 50-inch 4K television. It's a better experience right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
If you don't do
Mhm.
and
something about that, you're not going to stay in business.
nobody's
Yeah.
getting shot.
No,
You guys were there for that. Well, some of you might have been there for that.
Yes.
I was not, but
I wasn't.
Well,
I remember the story.
nobody was there for that. No, but movie theaters are going down. AMC is fighting a losing bat.
I think Regal joined in on AMC as well. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't.
Regal also
Yeah,
said
I actually saw that when I was looking up stuff today when we first brought this up. I think Regal may have.
I mean, I think they have to, but I think
yeah,
it's
they
an
have
act of
to.
desperation.
Yeah, because like what do you expect them to just be like, to not try to stay in business? Like
Right. They're just trying to
it just
buy
doesn't make
themselves
sense.
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is AMC the number one
Yeah.
movie
In
theater
the
company in
in the
the
United
country?
States, yeah,
Yes.
in the United
Yeah.
States.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about the stuff that I kind of want to go to a movie theater.
I
It's
would
been
go to
too
the theater
long.
right now if it was open.
Yeah, just because I can't sit in this place anymore. But are we ready for the main event?
I think
I think
so.
we are.
All right. So what we are going to be doing, we said normally it'll be top tens, but we split it up into top fives of top five movies, top five shows that we would recommend during quarantine. Not necessarily the best or my favorite, at least not in my case, but
Same here.
overall, just
Yeah.
ones that we think would be best for quarantine. Who wants to go first?
Are we gonna do like all of ours at once, or are we gonna do like five,
I think it's
five, five?
I think it's better if we go like one at a time, so we all talk. Like we each do our ones, and then we each do our twos.
I don't necessarily have them in any specific order.
Yeah.
No, I
yeah.
don't either. But
Okay. And then do we want to start with shows or movies? Or
um,
to alternate one show, one movie, one show, one movie?
Let's do shows.
Shows?
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with shows.
down for that.
All right, who's going first, boys?
I will go first.
Okay.
All right. So when it comes to TV shows in a quarantine atmosphere like we are in right now, you want something that you could keep watching for a long time, something that has a lot of seasons and a lot of episodes. This is not only my favorite show, but a favorite show among many people across the country and in the world. My number one recommendation is Game of Thrones.
Ruined.
Why? I'll get into that. Why? Because it has so many seasons and so many episodes that last 50 minutes each. And there's just so much story to it that there's like 7 different things going on at a time that I think it's just easy to get into, especially while you have nothing to do and nothing else on your mind. yes, the showrunners took a dump. Starting around season 6, things were starting to get a little fishy. I like to say I enjoyed season 6. I think season 7 and season 8 were definitely the two worst, but I get over it. I can still really enjoy the show. I've rewatched it, I think twice, so I've watched it a total of 3 times already. Um, yeah, so my number one recommendation for everyone is Game of Thrones, and you can watch that on HBO streaming services.
Got a lot of boobs in it too, if you like that.
I think
Yes,
it's a
it does.
good pick. I struggle to recommend
Yeah.
it with how bad I think that last season is.
I had Game of Thrones on my list
I did
for
not have
TV
it on my
shows.
list. Truthfully, I forgot about Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think the
Wow.
world did, which is
Try to
crazy
block it out
because
of my
it was
memory.
the biggest thing on TV for a while.
Dude,
Everybody
I'm
felt
still waiting for wins, man. I need George to release Wins a Winner, bro.
actually finished that story the way it should be finished.
Yeah.
I'm on a Clash of Kings right now, and I like it.
I read about 20 pages of the first book and haven't read any since. That was about 6 months ago.
Dude, those books are insane. Those books are
For
so good.
for the people that don't know, Game of Thrones is based off of A Song of Ice and Fire, a book series written by George R. R. Martin, and the series is not completed yet. And the TV show went over the books and basically did seasons without books and kind of took it their own path. And that's where things got interesting and turned for the worse. But
Yeah,
Ken, I know you have read pretty much all the books, I think.
I
And
read all the books, yeah.
what do you say? What would you recommend, the books or the show?
Books are better just because I mean with books you don't have a budget, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
everything's just like explained a lot better and there's just like a lot more characters, a lot different storylines, you know. It's just a lot better. I mean, I really enjoyed the books. I really enjoyed the books. I watched the show first and then I went and read the books and
Mhm.
I'm actually planning on rereading the books here over this summer once I get finished with the Lord of the Rings here.
Nice.
I'll go next.
All
My
right.
number one show recommendation, the best show in the world, hands down, no contest, The Office. If you haven't
Okay.
watched The
Yeah.
Office, then you're
Very
just missing
good
out. I know
suggestion.
Kenny and Dave agree with me. Dinge, you
Mhm.
can fight me on this. I don't give a
I won't fight
damn.
you on it. I just
Go.
don't. It's not one that appeals to me. I've tried. I watched 2 whole seasons. Can't get
You
into
have any? Then you didn't even get to the best part.
it. 2 whole seasons should be enough if it's a good show
No,
or
it
not.
shouldn't.
Season
Yes,
two,
first
season
season's
Season
one,
two's
only
not
okay.
bad. Season two's not bad.
Season two's not bad at all, and it
All
only
right.
gets better from there until like
Yeah.
season 7, episode
First one only
22.
has like 11 episodes.
The first one has 6.
11
First one's
too
like
many.
6.
Oh my god. Even worse.
Yeah, damn you, Dinch. You didn't even like
It's
basketball.
just not a great series. That's an okay episode. I got a few chuckles. But
Your sense of humor.
It's Always
suck.
Sunny is the superior show. And it always will be.
You know what? I have that on my list.
Spoilers.
I've
I
never
don't care.
I've
You
never
had-
watched Always Sunny.
It's so
Never
good.
watched it.
I'll go to someone else's number one though. I don't even need to do any explaining. If you haven't watched it, do it, and you'll know why. It's the GOAT. Kenny, you go.
Retweet.
Okay, I'll go. So I don't have any of mine in any specific order, but I know Game of Thrones has already been said, so I'm not going to say that. But I'm going to say a show that I actually recently just got recommended, and I finished it during this quarantine. So All American on Netflix. Really good show. I really enjoyed it. It's, it takes a while to get into just because it's kind of bizarre because the people who are playing that are supposed to be high school students, there's no way that they're high schoolers. So they're like 28, but like once you just get past that and stuff like that, and once you get past the first couple of episodes, it gets really good. And that's just a show that I was able to binge and stuff like that. And like similar to Game of Thrones, the episodes are like an hour long and around an hour. And so, you get a lot of time. And I think the episodes, I think there's around like 18 episodes or 16 episodes a season. So you get a lot of material there to watch. And I thought it was pretty enjoyable.
I've never heard of this. What is the premise of this show?
It's about high school football. Guys trying to make like college and stuff like that, and he changes schools. So like he goes to this one high school in like a bad area of town, and then he goes and moves to a different high school and stuff like that. And it's just like his journey, through playing football and like drama and stuff like that within high school and all
It
that
sounds like a
jazz.
Friday Night Lights ripoff.
Yeah,
Kind of.
it's pretty similar. Yeah.
Although I love Friday Night Lights. That's one of my favorite shows. of
Yeah, I
all
wouldn't
time.
be
I don't
opposed
have
to
it on
that.
my list, but that show is incredible. And I have
think
not
I-
watched All American, but I really want to.
I think I saw a meme of the dude from All American like running routes or something, and it looked like god awful, and people were like
Yeah.
roasting him
Yeah.
for it or something.
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah.
And like,
that's
yeah,
okay.
they're trying to make a TV show
I
realistic.
didn't know
and
what
this
that
guy's
was,
running
but
routes that our good friend Danny Boardley could cover.
yeah. That's like Nugget and Ben. They're like, yeah, we won't watch All American because the routes are so bad. But it's a really good show.
It's like Bill not playing Madden because it's not real football.
No.
Yeah.
All
all
right.
right.
Dinge.
I'll be brief. My first recommendation because we already talked about it. But if you haven't seen Tiger King, go watch Tiger King. Do yourself a favor. Join the movement. I thought it was this like Jersey Shore type show where it's just some idiot playing with tigers. It's not. This is an intense documentary. It is one of the greatest things on TV this year, and you are missing out if you haven't seen this.
Yeah, there's really no other way to like. I can't even explain the show. You just have to watch it to experience it. It is
It's an experience.
nothing
That's-
short of incredible. David.
All right, so my number 2 show was The Office, and we already talked about that. The Office probably my favorite comedic show of all time. Definitely a good binger, one that has 9 seasons, a lot of seasons that you can watch. So my next show I would recommend, and that I've recommended to people that I'm talking to right now, is Peaky Blinders.
Hell yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
English television show on Netflix that stars Cillian Murphy as Thomas Shelby, the leader of the Peaky Blinders, a gang based in Birmingham, England. And this is a show that has, again, like 6 solid seasons with, it's only 6 episodes per season, which could be a little bit better. But they're making, I think, at least 2 more seasons of the show, at least. But these episodes are, again, like an hour long. So they're really easy to watch during our quarantine time. And I would definitely recommend. Boys, what do you think of the show that I recommended you guys not too long ago?
Yeah, that was actually next on my list, and
Yeah, that's on my
it was
list. too.
awesome. I finished it in like
I
a
actually-
week.
You finished in a week.
So, yeah.
Dang. I actually just finished season 6 because I like took like a break with it because I was watching Peaky Blinders, started watching All American, finished All American, and went back to Peaky Blinders. And I just finished Peaky Blinders on Tuesday actually.
Oh, so I
Just did
did
this week.
spoil it for you
Yeah,
when I texted you that one.
yeah, you did. But like,
I'm sorry.
but yeah, it was fine. I like still, man. I that and the last episode of season 6 absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
Pissed me off.
huge cliffhanger, and just
Yeah.
I can't wait though.
Yeah, it's a really good show. Really good
that's a show that I
It's great
really
in it.
thought that I did not like. I didn't think I was gonna like it at all, but I actually ended up really liking it. It's one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah, it was a really good one.
Tom Hardy is an absolute god.
I love Tom Hardy. He is so
Yeah.
funny.
He's just good at everything he plays.
He is awesome at everything.
Ooh, I just thought of this show, but I'll just do a quick little honorable mention. The Witcher on
Great
I haven't
Netflix.
started
Great
that
show
yet.
too.
Great
I have
show.
that on my
Great
massive
series.
list of shows to watch.
Yes, it's in my queue.
I should specify I've only seen the first couple episodes. But what I've seen is
Oh
great.
my god.
I'm
You-
familiar
You
with
gotta
the
watch.
series. I've played the games and stuff. Fantastic recommendation.
What, Cam?
Watches like 2 seasons of The Office. Like it's trash. 2 episodes.
I didn't
of
say
The
it's trash.
Witcher.
This is not my thing.
This is the greatest show of all time. God damn it. All right.
One is good and the other isn't. I'm sorry.
My number 2 show is Peaky Blinders, so I'll go to my number 3, which is Always Sunny, which we briefly mentioned. This show is so funny.
So good.
It is. It's like a live action South Park. I don't know if anyone's seen a South Park. It is so offensive and so messed up on so many levels, and that's what makes it amazing. Danny DeVito is godlike. Dude is funny as hell. They're all funny as hell, and all they do is stupid shit, and they're terrible people.
Oh, they're absolutely awful, and that's what's so appealing about the show.
Yes.
So many sitcoms feel like a little too sterile for my taste.
Yeah.
Always Sunny is not that at all. It's a dark show.
They
to be
don't.
honest.
It's terrible. The things they do are terrible, but it's funny. I can't recommend it enough.
So, anyways, I started blasting.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know.
What about I drop my
My extra large condom.
No. It was
Monster
my
condom.
monster condom from my
My
Magnum,
Magnum
dong.
dong.
I only know Milk Steak. That's the only thing I know from that show. Is
Why?
Milk
Because of
Steak.
binging with Babish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Binging with Babish. Great guy on YouTube. You guys should
Great guy on
watch
YouTube.
him.
Makes me hungry every night.
Alrighty. So I'll do my my next recommendation is Waco.
Oh my god, I left it off. Why did I didn't mean to leave
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah.
Guys, I forgot it.
Waco is it's like it's if you've seen Chernobyl on
That
HBO.
is on my list.
Okay, I had that on my list. I was gonna put it on there. But it's very similar. It's like a kind of like a docudrama, I'd say. Absolutely awesome. It's about the Branch Davidians.
hmm
In the early 1990s, they had like a compound or whatever, and like there was a whole like shootout and a stalemate between the government and these Branch Davidians and stuff like that. And it's just all about that, the negotiations and stuff like that between the government and the cult members. It's just really good. I think there's only 6 episodes in it, but they're an hour. They're probably around an hour long, I'd say. Cam, would you say they're about an hour long?
Yeah,
And
45 minutes to an hour.
and like I watched it all in one day, all back to back to
Same.
back, because it was
Same.
so good. It just like it grips you. It's a kind of like a bad car crash where you just can't look away because it's like
Mhm.
it's just so enticing. It's just like you want to learn more about them because like the guy is crazy but like
That shit.
interesting.
And like I knew what was gonna happen because I've
Yeah,
read
yeah,
about it
yeah.
before, but I still like I just kept watching because I wanted to know more. And it was so interesting and so fun to watch. I love stuff like that. I love documentaries.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it was so much fun to watch. And I
Ah.
can't believe I left it off my list. I'm kind of pissed at myself.
I
But
also just thought of another show, Mindhunter, another great show on Netflix.
I have that. Yeah, you told me that. I have that on my list to watch.
Mindhunter's really good too.
That makes me just think of like more documentaries, like the serial killer documentaries. Ted Bundy.
I saw that.
Has,
Yeah,
he has
Ted
the
Bundy
one.
tapes.
Well, he has the movie that stars Zac Efron,
Yeah, with
but he
Zac
also
Efron,
has
yeah.
the Ted Bundy tapes.
Yeah, Ted Bundy tapes.
That's
yeah,
another really good one.
yeah, I watched that in like 2 days or so.
Yeah.
So Kenny's just sold me on Waco. I will be watching this because he
Good.
compared it to Chernobyl, which is next on my list. This is the best thing on HBO last year. Forget Game of Thrones season 8. At one point, it may still be the case. This was the top-rated TV show on all of IMDb. It's only 5 episodes, an hour each, so structured like Waco. What a phenomenal show! Phenomenal acting. It's horrifying. It's one of the most
The
horrific
dogs.
shows I think I've ever seen. And for the most part, it's factual. That's the craziest part about it. It's really one that will stay with you for a while. And if you missed it last year, go back and track it down because it's not one to be missed.
I'm watching that tomorrow. Thank you,
Really
Ditch.
good.
David, back to you, brother.
All right, so to continue with a lot of real life events and a like documentary series, for my next pick, I have 2 shows that go by the same name but in different locations, and that is Narcos and Narcos Mexico, both a Netflix documentary series. The original Narcos is based on Pablo Escobar's life and the Medellin cartel, and also the Cali cartel in season 3 after Pablo Escobar's death. And then Narcos Mexico was about the Guadalajara cartel with Miguel Angel Gallardo leading that. And these are 2 really good shows that are like Waco and Chernobyl, based on real life events that where you can see like people like Pablo Escobar, see what he did on day-to-day stuff, and then see all the Cali cartel bosses, and then also see Miguel Angel and just good actors playing these guys. Diego Luna, a fantastic actor, was in Rogue One, played Cassian Andor. Just this is a great series that I'd recommend for both of them, and also shows the corruption of Mexico with the drug cartels, and shows kind of how dirty Mexico actually really is. And Diego Luna was said in an interview that some of those politicians are still in power. My friend Cameron May recommended this show to me, and Cam, what are your thoughts on it?
Awesome. It's one of those shows where each season I would have excuse me. I would have trouble like getting into it. Not necessarily each season, but at the start of Narcos and the start of Narcos Mexico, I'd have trouble getting into it. It was kind of started off slow, and basically none of it is in English. But once you get into it,
Yeah,
it is so interesting. It's so cool and crazy as hell. I love watching. I mean, it was awesome. One of my favorite
yeah,
shows.
and it's basically there's a narrator over every single episode, and the narrators tell like the real life story and stuff like that, and it's just all this cool information like behind the scenes that you didn't know about them, and just like how they ran their organizations and became like the richest people on the planet, and were hiding in South America, and how they were able to escape the government and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's crazy to think it even happened, but it would never happen with today's technology, but it still is. And you get to see people like in the present day, the Sinaloa cartel, I think that's the number one most dangerous cartel, and I'm forgetting his name. What's his name? Cam,
Miguel
what's his name?
Angel Felix
No, 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 no,
Gallardo.
no, no.
I zoned out.
El Chapo.
Oh, El Chapo, yeah.
El Chapo. Yeah, he's in jail right now, but he has been the boss. He took over for Miguel Angel, and now he's in jail, and I'm pretty sure maybe his family are ruling now. But like he's in the television show Narcos Mexico, and it's just cool to see him at a young age doing what he was doing, set him up to be the boss that he is now.
Yeah, it was awesome. I think I'm up.
Yep.
My fourth on the list was Tiger King, which we talked about now. So my fifth and final TV show I've recommended to every person I've ever talked to, basically, especially David here, is Ozark. It's one of my favorite shows. It's a Netflix series about a guy money laundering for a drug cartel, has to move his family away to do it, and it's awesome and interesting and crazy, constantly, plot twist, always keeping you into it. Highly recommend this show. David, I know you love it as well.
Yeah, this show was barely missed my top five. I actually had it as an honorable mention and just barely missed at number six. My number five was Stranger Things, which we'll maybe get into later. But no, Ozark, a show about money laundering, drug cartels again. It's just something that they make it real life, and it's just really cool. And a lot like with Game of Thrones and Narcos too, the cliffhangers after every single episode, and it just makes you want to watch and watch. And I finished it in probably a week, I think, maybe less.
Hey, I guess I will go next. So basically, everybody's already said mine except for my last one. So I'll just only do four, I guess. My last one's gonna be Cheers, which is a sitcom in the 80s. It's really good, really funny. You have like a lot of like just basic characters, and there's a lot of like sitcoms that kind of are based off of Cheers and stuff like that. I know Jeff, I know he can kind of ride for me with Cheers and stuff like that because he really liked Frasier, which is a spinoff of Cheers. But you have a lot of iconic characters. You have Diane, Sam and Diane, Norm, Cliff, Coach, Carla. I mean, just a bunch of iconic characters that that I think that really play well. And there's 11 seasons as well, so there's a bunch of material to watch, and it's just a sitcom that I really enjoyed, and a sitcom that I just recently got into. So
I don't know if I've ever heard of that. I think I
Yeah,
have,
no,
but I don't really
my
know.
My
parents are really
parents
into
watched
it.
it. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's old. It's an older show.
And
before our
he's a
time.
boomer.
It's boomers.
And he is a boomer. All right, Dinch, what you got for us, brother?
All right, I have the real best show for quarantine. 9 seasons long,
The Office.
24.
Oh
my God.
dude.
I didn't think we were going to talk about this.
Is Nug over there?
I got to represent Nug because he's not here.
Oh my God.
24 is to guys, I think, what Grey's Anatomy is to chicks. It's just
No, it's
always
not.
there.
Never
Yes.
watched it.
24 is so good. It's everything you love about like Jason Bourne or Rambo.
Don't love Jason Bourne.
Wow, then you're missing out
You're
on
just
that
naming
too.
a whole bunch of average stuff.
Those are great movies. Let's get Ben in here too, and he'll defend Rambo.
Ben only
John Wick.
watches Rambo and Criminal Minds. That's it.
John
Well,
Wick would
like
kill all of them.
24 is a combination of both of those shows. Ben would love 24. It is the perfect like junk food TV. If you haven't seen 24, give it a shot, man. Kiefer Sutherland's a legend.
No, don't do that. Don't watch that. I
No,
watched one episode.
you take The Office and shove it up your ass because 24 is where it's
No.
I'm pretty sure
Award-winning
ratings
show.
say otherwise.
at. No, 24's won awards too.
Not as many as The
Like
Office.
this load of horse shit.
Wow, critics suck.
Is the challenge on your list as well?
The challenge is
critics
not
are
on my
the critics.
list. Am I the only one with picks left?
I don't know. Do you have any shows
Might
left?
be.
I
all
have
mine
2
are
left.
picked.
Go ahead and go for it, brother.
All right, so I'll just rapid fire these off because these last 2 I picked as kind of like background.
Yeah,
I've
hopefully
been
they're not as
using them
bad as
while I
that
do
one.
other stuff. No, they're great picks. The first one is Chopped. Chopped is
Yes,
a
oh my
perfect
God.
quarantine show.
Binge watch
Good.
Chopped.
Dude, there are like 40 seasons of Chopped, and you can throw on Chopped while you're doing anything. All right, like homework, you can watch Chopped. If you're like
I love Chopped.
building model houses, you can watch Chopped. Like Chopped is something you don't need to focus on, but it can just be in the background. If you're making dinner, you throw on Chopped and get some. Like it is a perfect show. It is bingeable. It's everything you need to get through quarantine, and there's like 1,000 hours on Hulu.
You remember the one night we were sleeping over at my house? I don't know who was there, but we were watching Chopped and we were like betting on the winners.
Dude, that's what you got to do. You have to pick your favorite, and then that's your ride or die.
I want to start putting actual money on it.
I will start
think that
betting
could
on
be-
Chopped.
I would too.
I'm down to
Let's
start
do
betting
it.
on Chopped.
Well, we need to start hosting Zoom parties for Chopped.
And then we'll
because
put it on here.
This is the show, dude.
Dude, I like guys' grocery games, man. I like that one.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Yo, that's
The
good.
best show on the Food Network.
I stand Cutthroat
Food
Kitchen
Network kinda
too. Alton
slaps.
Brown's the man.
Yes,
No,
Cutthroat Kitchen.
That's more of a game
Chopped is the
show,
best
I think.
show.
Chopped is a better cooking show. Yeah. You know, the I think the chefs on there are a little more competent, so that was my recommendation. Because you can learn a few things too if you're interested in cooking. It's a good hobby to pick up right now.
Yeah.
Except the ingredients they use are weird as hell. Or just gross.
Sometimes they get some good stuff.
Yeah, but sometimes they're combining ice cream and fish oil pills.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, if this thing gets any worse, you might be eating fish oil pills. Yeah, think about
I
that.
think my dad's got some
I
downstairs.
think my mom has some too.
I'm sure my grandparents have some.
Are you calling
my-
your parents old?
My last pick is in a similar vein to Chopped. It's on Fox, and this show caught me completely by surprise. Watched it one day, like on a whim. That's Lego Masters.
Dude, I want to watch that.
Lego
Is it
Masters is phenomenal, dude. Go watch it right now. It's like 10 episodes long. Each week is a different building competition. One week they're building Star Wars droids. The next they're building theme park rides.
Dude, that's.
I was never
lit.
really a big Lego kid,
Neither was I.
but like this show is art, dude.
This.
It's
You're,
really
you're
impressive
calling
stuff.
Lego stuff art, but you don't watch The Office.
The Office is trash. Lego Masters is better. It's got
Hey!
Will Arnett.
What?
It's got Will Arnett, the voice of Lego
Will Arnett's
Batman
in The
himself.
Office.
I don't care. I don't care. He's on
He
Lego
is.
Masters now. And that's where he belongs. Where
this
he's
is-
always meant to be.
My relationship with Lego as a child is so funny. Like I would want them. I would
Do you
get
have the
them.
Death Star?
Mm-hmm.
I would get them, but I'd have my mom build them, and then I would just play with them afterwards.
Yeah, nobody wants to build it.
Yeah,
The worst
no,
part.
Did you
Tell
have
that
the
to
Death
these
Star,
people.
Ken?
These people were doing like
I don't think I
15-hour
had the Death
builds
Star.
every
I
week.
had like the
It's
one
crazy.
the start. I had like one of the big, like the one of the big long ships or something like
The
that.
Star Destroyers.
Yeah, the Star Destroyers. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
My cousin has some of those. No, but I hate building them. But playing with them was always the best part.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
that rounds out our TV shows, I believe, with Dinch's odd picks. Although I love Chop.
Those
I
are
can't
both
even
great
disagree.
picks.
I love Chop. But 24 is still ass.
You're
All right,
out.
on to movies. Let's just rapid fires ours 1 through 5, and then we can roast each
Discuss.
other afterward.
Yep.
I'll start. I have no particular order. What I tried to mix up the genres, so you're not watching 5 action movies or 5 comedies. But number 1, the greatest comedy of all time, Step Brothers. Then I have Infinity War in there. To fill the sports void, the greatest baseball movie of all time, The Sandlot. Then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then I kind of cheated. It's more than one movie. But if you love horror movies, the entire Conjuring universe with the Conjuring movies and Annabelle, those are all great.
I'm going to dispute that.
Go for it.
Let's start there. The Conjuring movies, the first one's great. I don't think anything after that is great.
I like
Conjuring
the
2
Annabelle
is fun.
movies, though.
No.
Yes.
Whack movies.
No.
There's nothing scary about the Annabelle movies.
I disagree. Scary movies
Scared
do
of a
not
doll?
scary movies do not scare me, but the Annabelle movies freak me out.
All right, take note.
Scared of a
Cam's scared of a
doll.
Cabbage Patch Kid.
Jesus.
I'm not scared of the Cabbage Patch Kid. I'm scared of the demons that are being summoned by the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Do you hear yourself right now?
Yes.
No, the first Conjuring's phenomenal. I'll back you up with that. And the second one's fun. You can take your Nun movie and your La Llorona or whatever and shove them up your ass.
I didn't watch The Nun.
Those are still
None.
Conjuring universe movies, and those are straight up bad.
I like the 3 Conjurings, and Annabelle are 2 good
Wait,
movies.
3 Conjurings?
I think there's 3, aren't there?
I thought there was 2.
I don't know.
He doesn't even know how many movies there are.
Guys,
in this
it's been a
franchise
minute.
that he
There's
loves.
definitely 3. I'm fact checking myself.
There's
yes.
not.
Oh wait, it's coming out in 2020. That's why.
All right.
September.
So there's 2.
Okay. And this third one's going to be great too.
I think that's half of a great pick.
Well, I think you're half of a good friend.
Wow.
Fine, that's a half more than you.
Ooh.
Whoa!
Damn right.
It's coming out on the podcast. It's all coming out.
Does anybody else have any disputes with mine, or is mine the best list?
I like it.
The best
I
list.
like
okay.
the list overall. I think it's a good list.
Thanks, guys.
Some classics in there.
Except you, Dinch. Piss off.
Okay,
Alright.
I'll go next, and I know that it's gonna be attacked a little bit. So these are in an order, but they're not really in any order. They're just 5 good movies, and I try to make sure that they're all on streaming services. So I have Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, a great long movie. John Wick 3, Parabellum. This movie just came out recently, and this is also a very long movie that takes a dive into the John Wick world. My next movie is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I included this because
Hell is frozen over.
it was just recently released on a streaming service, so that's why it's on there. No matter how bad it is, still gotta check it out. My next one is Goodfellas, another long movie that's based on a true story. Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. Can't get any better than those guys. Those guys are awesome. Then my last and final movie, oh my god, is Django Unchained. Now this is on Netflix. It's a Tarantino movie that's got Jamie Foxx, Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio. I just watched it the other night. It was goddamn awesome. It was just like, like Inglourious Bastards,
Phenomenal.
like where there's just all these awesome scenes going on. And Tarantino's just fantastic. So go ahead, take some stabs at my list.
No,
I love
agree.
Dave's list.
I like your
Yeah,
list. Today.
I had a lot of trouble trying to pick which Tarantino movie I wanted to put on there, whether it was Django, Inglourious Bastards, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I didn't even know
just found Once
Django was
Upon
on
a Time.
Netflix.
I think
I
it
think
just
it's
got
just
back
recent.
on Netflix. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, whenever I was watching my PG
Check that out,
Blinders this
everyone.
past week, I saw it on there.
I will say about John Wick, if you're like me and you haven't seen any of them, this releases tomorrow, right, Cam? Friday.
Yes.
Lionsgate is broadcasting John Wick on YouTube for free Friday night. So I will be
Good.
tuning into that. That's a quarantine recommendation. If you haven't seen John Wick, perfect opportunity to watch it.
A must watch, in my opinion.
I like the first. I think three's the worst of the three, but they're all like fun movies. A lot of action.
Yeah,
The
and
first
there's going
one,
to be
I
a fourth one, and there's supposed
Yeah.
to be a TV show about it. That's a prequel, so that's maybe cool.
yeah, that is actually a prequel. Would be really cool.
Yeah.
I like
Well, and
Goodfellas.
Keanu
Goodfellas is
said
a
he's
good
probably be in
choice.
it. Sorry.
Fellas is a great choice. And a long movie.
Yeah.
Good
Keep you
movie.
busy.
I
for
tried
an
to pick
afternoon.
long movies. I'm pretty sure all my movies are at least over 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think all of them are pretty long.
Never seen Goodfellas.
It's
You're
really
missing
good.
out.
Oh,
Really
God.
good.
I've had it on my
Scorsese, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had it on my movies to watch list for like 5 years, but I just
You'll love it.
haven't gotten around to it.
It's hilarious.
I'll have to watch it.
What?
will.
Why am I so funny?
That's a good scene. That's a good scene.
What makes me so funny?
You know that
Am I
that
joke?
entire
Am I
that entire thing was like improv. I'm pretty sure that entire scene
Mhm.
was improv between both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Off
Love
topic.
So-
Do you guys like The Irishman? Did you watch it?
I watched it. I watched it with Thanksgiving break, I think.
I want to get. I haven't gotten around to it because it's so long, but I might as
Yeah.
well now. So I probably will watch that now because of you just saying that.
I think
I
it's a
liked
great
it.
movie.
I liked
I
it.
think it's about an hour too long. I think
Yeah,
That's what a
they've
lot of
said-
people
I
are
have
saying.
heard that. I heard the last hour is just a waste.
See, I think the
Yeah.
last hour is the important hour.
The middle's bad or something.
It hangs in the middle. The last hour to me, and this won't make any sense until you see it, is kind of the message of that movie.
Yeah.
I think that movie has something to say, but for the first 2 hours, it kind of meanders its way there. And it kind of just feels like any other mob movie. Like I've seen this in Goodfellas, I've seen this in Casino, I've seen this,
Hmm.
time and time again.
Yeah, I want to watch that. I actually completely forgot about it, but like, so I think it was Dave. I want to watch it, but it just 3 hours is a long time.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not like the
3.5
end game.
hours long.
Yeah, it's not like the end game 3 hours where end game I thought always went fast. Didn't feel like
Yeah.
3 hours. Like with Irishman, I would like kind of sit and be like, oh, I still have so much time to go or whatever, and then
Just because
It
it
was just
doesn't
hard.
drag in Endgame. They.
Yeah.
I
They
can't
picked
believe they even
big
cut
go.
it. What was the original cut? Was like, I don't even know, like 4 hours maybe. I don't know. I could be just BSing that, but
Okay. All right, so
Who's
do you guys
next?
want to do? I'll do my list next. Alrighty, so
Yeah.
I got Jojo Rabbit.
Mm.
Great movie directed by Taika Watiti, like we mentioned before. I have the Lego Movie. You know, everything is awesome. Everything's awesome with that movie. Absolutely incredible. I have Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably my, at least my top 5 favorite Marvel movie. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Great pick.
oh,
I have that one. And then rounding out with number 5, going back to Nick Cage, I got National Treasure in there. I'm gonna go steal the Constitution.
Declaration.
I like that
No.
list.
Damn it.
Considering you put-
Damn it.
Considering you put the Lego Movie on there, going back to the TV shows, I'm really surprised you didn't have Liv and Maddie on there.
Yeah, what
That's
the hell, Ken?
That's
What the hell? What the fuck, Ken?
Want to
And
put
how
Big
old was
Time
that
Rush
girl
on
on
my
that show?
list.
BTR
she's-
going platinum,
She's
like we
20.
said before.
No, how old was she
BTR.
when she did the show? I just want
Dude.
And he said he
I
was
think
watching the
I think she
show.
was 17.
to, like, unironically, you were watching this?
No, okay. I was ironically I was watching it. Like I watched
bro.
the first episode and then like 10 minutes in the second episode. I just
Okay, all right,
And he
I'll
was
allow
plotting because he wanted to marry this chick.
Yeah,
He literally told me that. And then
Yeah,
he
it
found
was-
out she was engaged.
yeah. I found out she was engaged. So
Hey, just
So,
because
yeah.
there's a goalie, bro.
move out to LA. Just stalk what's her name? Cameron Dove or Dove Cameron?
Dove Cameron, I think.
Dove Cameron.
I
Yeah.
hate that I know that. Mother.
Yo, can you trying to get my girl, bro? That's my girl, dude.
I'm sneaking. It's the name. All right.
that. All right,
List,
my
Kenny.
5.
Even though I've seen like 2 of those movies.
Let's go, Dinge.
That's a
Round
great.
us out.
All right, so I tried to pick 5 a little more out there choices. I think I didn't want to go with the big franchises so much that we're used to. So my number 1 pick, really relevant movie right now, Contagion, from 2011, all-star cast, and that's a movie that will sit differently with you right now for sure as we're watching the world kind of, find its way through this time. That's one that if you missed it when it came out 10 years ago, you should tune back in for that because
But I
it's a
feel like
little more realistic than a lot of the outbreak Hollywood movies.
I feel like it's gonna cause a lot of anxiety though, because it's so like it's like eerily accurate to what we're
Yes.
going through right now.
I mean, we're at the tail end of it though.
My number 2 pick, I decided to watch. It's on Netflix. It's Train to Busan. After I saw Parasite with Lexi, we were recommended this movie.
Flex.
Tuned in. It
Is
is a
that
zombie
animated?
movie.
Oh
No.
wait, no, I know that movie. I've heard of it. I've heard of this
Yeah.
movie.
This is a movie that I didn't expect much out of. It's pretty low budget, but I'll tell you what, I was really shocked. This captures the chaos of a zombie movie, I think, better than any movie I've seen. And it's got an ending that is pretty haunting. So I would definitely say, yes, it's subtitled. Get past that. Watch this movie because it will surprise you. Next on my list, I have a Chris Nolan movie that I think less people have seen, The Prestige. If this is one of Nolan's best movies, it's Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, with the supporting cast of Michael Caine and Scarlett Johansson, all stars. It's clever in its writing. It's a historical piece during a really interesting time period, and it's highly recommended. Next pick, Cloverfield on Netflix. I think Cloverfield is the scariest movie I've ever seen. I think that movie captures the intensity of something like that better than anything I've watched. It has kind of a 9/11 feel to it, like the videos from inside the Twin Towers. It's really eerie stuff. And if you're looking for a late night thriller, couldn't recommend Cloverfield enough. Last is my only series on the list. I would recommend the James Bond movies. All 21 of the ones up to Daniel Craig are available on Amazon Prime. I haven't seen most of these movies, and so these are some that I'm going to check out. If you're looking to see some classic movies inspired a lot of the blockbusters we like today, I think this is a really solid choice.
No. I don't think I've seen a single one of those movies.
You've never seen a James Bond movie?
No!
Are you kidding me? You
They
didn't
don't
see
look
Skyfall?
interesting to me.
Dude, get
They
to
honestly
work.
don't.
What was your number one?
Contagion.
No, my dad's been going on about that. He was so excited to watch it.
Great movie. I would recommend all 5 of those. If you haven't seen those, I think a lot of people probably missed those. Go track them down.
You know a movie that I just remembered that none of us had on? I'm surprised. I don't know how many of you seen it. I know Dinch has. The Departed.
Phenomenal movie.
That has one of the best movie casts I've ever seen.
I think that's my favorite Scorsese movie.
That's a great movie.
So that keeps you on the edge of your seat for the full 3 hours.
For sure. For sure. The ending is awesome. All right. Any final thoughts, boys? We've been going on for a while now.
I think you boys have good tastes. That's what I gotta say.
I agree with Ken here.
I agree with Ken, except for 24.
Mostly because I recommended
I
all the
agree,
shows
except
that
for
he
The
didn't
Office.
put on.
That's fair.
Okay,
We can actually
just
agree to
for
disagree.
everyone that's listening, just don't listen to Dinch, whatever he said this whole entire time.
I think I had the most unique picks out of anyone.
Yeah,
Doesn't
that
make them
mean
good.
they were good.
They were great picks. If you ever sat down to watch them, you'd see.
I did. All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, that's fair. I lose. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of The Cycle. As always, remember to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcast. Follow us on Spotify and Twitter at TheCyclePod_. Tune in next time, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy.